welcome back. Tonight we're going to do a stuffed deboned chicken. We're going to take a chicken and debone it. We're going to stuff it with bacon, mac and cheese, and cook it on a hickory fire. It is an incredible recipe, but first I'm going to show you how that I go about the process of deboning a chicken. It sounds a little daunting, but it's really not. It's not that hard. It does take a little time, but it is super impressive and worth every minute of the time that it takes to do it. Let's get into it right now. I'm going to show you how I debone a chicken. So a couple of must-haves for this process. First of all, a really sharp fillet knife. I'm using a Bubba Blade 7-inch flex. I'm not sponsored by Bubba Blade, but it's a really good knife in my opinion. I'm also using a pair of kitchen shears. Now these are not really good kitchen shears, but this is what I had available to me. I'm looking to get myself a new pair of kitchen shears, so if any of you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. So we're going to start off with the backbone up. We're going to use the neck and the backbone as a guide right there, and we're just going to cut right down the middle of that. You need for your knife to be really sharp, and then once we make that initial cut, we're just going to start going down the edge and cutting as close to the rib cage as we possibly can. Now what you'll find right off the bat is that your wing bone is already in the way, so to speak. So the best thing to do is go ahead and get your shears, cut through that wing bone, and then same thing back here with your leg bone. Go ahead and cut that off with your shears, and just continue to cut down, and just keep your knife as close to that rib cage as you possibly can, saving every bit of meat that you possibly can. Once you get this side kind of taken down, go ahead and go to the other side and just repeat the process. Just start right there along the backbone and start just shaving it back. We're already at our bones right there for the leg. And we'll go ahead and get the wing while we're at it. Once you separate those wing bones and the leg bone, it's just a process of keeping your knife right up against the rib cage as close as you possibly can. So you can see there, I'm really starting to get down to the nitty-gritty, to where I have separated the rib cage from the rest of the body. Really right there is just a little bit of meat that I left over, and if you find that you've got some that you left, just cut it out and stick it in there. So there's the backbone, rib cage, the breastbone. So now we're going to move on to the legs. Now you can leave the legs intact if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, because it's kind of tedious to do it. I personally do not do the wings. I just leave the bones in the wings. If you want to do the leg bones, they're a little bit easier to do than the wings. So just grab that leg bone and just use your knife to start peeling the meat back off of that leg bone, like so. I mean, you can almost use your knife to just scrape it as you go down. When you get right there in that bend, that elbow, that's where it gets a little tricky. Just slowly feel your way around. You don't have to get in a hurry. You don't want to cut a hole through the skin, but you do want to get that knuckle out of there. And And there again, a really sharp knife is your best friend for this process. Once you cut through that knuckle and get that opened up, you can start to peel it back again with your knife. So what I do is take it down to where I've got just raw bone as far down as I can go, and then I just clip that off with my kitchen shears. And then what you wind up with is the leg. You can turn it inside out. You can stuff that leg and have a nice stuffed leg. So come over here to the other side and repeat the same process. Like I said, I just start using my knife to peel it, save as much meat as I can, cut around that knuckle, and you just got to be careful. Just cut slowly around that knuckle, and you can start to see right there. I'm starting to get bone again right there. So I have made it safely past that cartilage. So now, past that, we just peel it on down. Alright, we're probably down far enough. Use our kitchen shears, trim it off. Okay, next up, I'm gonna take some paper towels and I'm gonna try to dry a lot of this moisture out of here. Makes it a little bit easier to work with. So now, before we get this really going, we gotta get our fire up and running. Alright, tonight we're gonna cook this on the Weber kettle. As you can see, I've got quite a bit of charcoal that's been extinguished from my last cook, so we're gonna need to add just a little bit to that. I wanna cook it on an offset fire. I want one side with charcoal, one side with not. We're gonna add a couple pieces of hickory after we dump that charcoal. You're gonna get your fire about 400 degrees. That's where you want it. 350 to 400 is gonna be perfect for cooking this chicken. Okay, while that fire is getting up and going, it is time to stuff our chicken and sew it up. So one of the things that we're gonna need is some barbecue rub or seasoning, and I'm gonna use my barbecue rub. We also have some bacon mac and cheese. Now we took Stouffer's mac and cheese, we added some mozzarella cheese to it, we added some bacon, we added some green onions, we added some of our seasoning. You need some butcher's twine, and you need a heavy duty needle. So first off, we're gonna season the inside of the chicken cavity with our barbecue rub. We're just gonna pretty good coat in there. Next up, I'm gonna stuff the legs. So I'm gonna take a spoonful of our bacon mac and cheese, and really, I don't know, you probably could do this easier with your hand, but just scoop out a bunch, stuff it down in that leg. Okay, once you have the leg stuffed, it's best to start sewing it up. So we're going to start down here on the end where the neck was or is. Just fold that skin over, take your needle and your butcher's twine, and just start sewing up the cavity. As you go along, you just grab it up, run the thread through, make sure it's closed up. Now you need to make sure when you pull your thread and make up your you know, put your thread through the needle, that you got quite a bit of butcher's twine to finish the job. I would estimate about 3 feet would probably be adequate for most chickens. It's probably more than you need, but you'd rather have much more than not enough. Alright, so right there, as you can see, I've got a place right there I can start grabbing this stuffing, this bacon mac and cheese. I can start packing it in there. Alright, so I'm going to grab some scissors and cut that. We're going to be ready to put this sucker on the smoker. Alright, we're going to transfer our chicken to an aluminum pan. Alright, we get it in the pan. We're going to add just a little bit of olive oil to the outside. Give it that golden brown color. I'm going to flip it real quick, give it just a little bit more olive oil. And that's it. I do not season the outside. I want it just like golden brown. All the seasoning and flavor is on the inside. And I'm going to cook it with the breast side up, which is this side. So once I flip it and do my olive oil, it's ready to go into the cooker. Okay, so we got it over here on the offset side of the hickory fire, and we're going to close it up and let it go for about an hour and a half at least, and we'll check it out as we go along and see how it's going. Man, that looks good. We went for 2 hours on the Weber at about 450 to 475, which is a little bit hotter than I like. I would prefer about 350, but either way, if you cook a little hotter, just cook it a little less. Shut your vents down. Make sure you keep a monitor on your internal temperature of your chicken. As you know, when you cook with charcoal, there's no knobs to turn, so you kind of got to go with the fire that you build. My mistake was building just a little bit hotter fire than I should have, but that's okay. It came out okay. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We're going to serve this up with some homemade cornbread, some grilled corn. I hope you guys are all doing well. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please, if you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you next time.